Mark-Cuban sells a cancer drug that once cost nearly $10,000 a month. He sells it for $47. Same molecule, same factory, same pills in the bottle. And he's still making a clean 15% on it. So if the drug costs $47 to sell at a profit, where did the other $9,900 go? Follow that gap, and you find a middleman most people have never heard of, taking a cut you never see. Undervalued. The business they don't teach you. Start with your last prescription. You paid whatever the pharmacy told you to pay, and you almost certainly have no idea how that number got built. Here's what you weren't shown. The price of a generic drug has almost nothing to do with what the drug costs to make. The active ingredient in most generics costs pennies a dose. What you actually pay is piled on top of that by a chain of middlemen. Wholesalers, pharmacies, and one company in the middle you've probably never named. Each one takes a cut on the way to your hand. And the biggest cut goes to a business that never touches the pill. So Mark-Cuban built a company to tear that chain out. In 2022, he and a radiologist named Alex Oshmiansky launched the Mark-Cuban Cost Plus Drug Company. The pitch was almost boringly simple. Buy the generic straight from the manufacturer, add a flat 15%, add a small pharmacy fee, add shipping, and sell it at that number. Posted publicly for anyone to check. No negotiation, no coupon, no secret. Cuban didn't invent a cheaper drug. He deleted everyone standing between the factory and you. And to see how radical that is, you have to read the receipt he actually prints. Here's the whole formula, and it fits on one line. Cost plus 15% plus a small pharmacy fee plus shipping. That's it. A generic A-chain pharmacy might ring up for hundreds of dollars, gets built from the manufacturer's real cost. The actual price, cost plus pays. Then marked up 15%. Then a few dollars to dispense it and a few to mail it. Everything's visible. The markup is the profit, and the profit is said out loud. A normal pharmacy receipt gives you the price and nothing else. One of these companies wants you to see the math. Now watch what the other one is hiding. The company you're paying without knowing it is called a Pharmacy Benefit Manager, a PBM. It sits between your insurer and your pharmacy, and it's supposed to negotiate lower drug prices for you. 3 of them, CVS Caremark, Express Scripts, and Optum Rx, run about 80% of the roughly 6.6 billion prescriptions filled in America every year. That's the FTC's own count. Here's the move they use, called spread pricing. The PBM charges your health plan one price, pays the pharmacy a lower one, and quietly keeps the difference. You never see the spread. It's baked into your cost before the receipt even prints. Cost Plus makes its money on a 15% markup it shows you. The middleman makes its money on a markup it doesn't. And regulators finally put a number on it. Put one drug on a chart and the whole system shows up. Imatinib, the generic for Gleevec, a leukemia drug that keeps people alive. Under patent, the brand price climbed from about $4,000 a month in 2001 to nearly $10,000 a month by 2015. Then it went generic, and the molecule turned cheap to make, pennies of ingredient. So what does Cost Plus charge for a month of it? $47. Not 47% off, $47 total. The pills didn't change. The chemistry didn't change. The only thing that changed was how many hands were in the price. And most of those hands are still in your prescription right now. Cuban's stunt wasn't just marketing. It exposed something the government spent years digging into. The Federal Trade Commission studied how the biggest PBMs price specialty generic drugs. What it reported in 2024 and 2025 was blunt. Between 2020 and 2022, the Big Three marked up 63% of those drugs by more than 100% over what they paid for them. They marked up 22% of them by more than 1,000%. On specialty generics alone, the FTC counted $7.3 billion in dispensing revenue above the drug's real cost, and another $1.4 billion pulled in through spread pricing. That's the gap Cost Plus refuses to charge. Here's the number that should bother you most. Researchers at Harvard put Cost Plus prices next to what Medicare actually paid for the same generics. Their finding, published in the Annals of Internal Medicine, in 1 year, Medicare could have saved up to $3.6 billion on 77 generic drugs, about 37% of what it spent on them. On this handful of drugs, bought at a random billionaire's website. That's not a rounding error in a trillion-dollar system. That's the price of the middle, measured in public money. Which raises the obvious question: if the model's this good, why hasn't it swallowed the whole market? The answer is the whole lesson of this channel. Generics are cheap to make, and they always were. The active ingredient costs pennies, the factory runs at scale, and the patent expired years ago. The high price was never about the drug. It was about the distance between the factory and you, and every toll collected along the way. Cost Plus didn't cure anything or invent anything. It just refused to hide the markup and shortened the line. If you like watching someone pull the back of a system and show you the gears, subscribe. That's the whole channel, one hidden machine a week. But before you crown Cuban a saint, here's the part his marketing skips. Here's the honest version, before the comments write it for me. Cost Plus only sells generics. It does almost nothing for the brand name and specialty drugs, where most of America's drug spending actually lives. The insulin pens, the biologics, the patented blockbusters. It's usually cash pay, so what you spend there often doesn't count toward your insurance deductible. And Cuban isn't running a charity. That 15% is a real margin on every order, and the company turns a profit. It's a business. All of it's true, and none of it undoes the point. A guy with a website and a spreadsheet sells the same pills for a fraction of the price and stays in business doing it, which tells you exactly what the rest of the price was. So here's what Cost Plus drugs actually proves. The price of your medicine was never really about the medicine. It was about everyone standing between you and the factory, taking a cut you were never meant to see. Strip them out, add an honest 15%, and a $10,000 drug costs $47. Cuban didn't lower the price of the drug. He just turned off the meter you didn't know was running. Cost Plus spent years teaching people that a drug price is a fact. It isn't. It's a stack of markups wearing a single number. Here's my question, and I want real answers below. What's a price you pay every month that you've never once seen broken down? Your phone bill, your insurance, your card's exchange rate? Drop it in the comments. It might be the next teardown. Subscribe for one hidden machine a week. Next up, Ticketmaster, and the fees that were the plan all along.